Well, it looks like your home office is coming together. Like you got the lamp going. It's a bit of a. It looks like a nice
Oh,
cozy vibe in
yeah,
there, man.
man, mate.
Beanbags
Oh,
in the back.
so I've actually my final pictures and everything have arrived. They're all on the wall and stuff. So I will include a picture in the edit of what my office looks like. But I've got a lamp here which you can't see. It's actually red, and I've got another lamp here which you can't see. But hopefully, I'll have another lamp back there so you can see Thanos' gauntlet better. Have you got those mushroom lamps from IKEA, but like the small ones?
No, so the one thing that my office is actually currently missing is a nice either floor lamp or just like little desk lamp. But
Hmm.
the lamp that's the floor lamp that's downstairs in the living room is my one that was in my bedroom in London, and
Okay.
eventually Yaz wants to get a different one for the living room, so that will migrate its way up to here. So we'll have some
Okay.
nice background lighting at some point.
Oh
And
yes.
that's got one of the Philips Hue bulbs in, so I can change the color. So by the way, like I don't know why I always put this northern accent on and I always mimic you. It's just like part of my daily life. And
You're
Yaz
becoming more
always
like
she's
me.
she's like, please stop talking like Cameron. It's doing my head in. She's
She's
like, you
gonna
sound like
hate
Cameron.
me.
Shut up. Not that there's any no offense to you, Cameron,
Damn,
but
Yaz, so
she's just like
aggressive. Like I'm gonna
you're not
so.
northern. Stop speaking like Cameron. But like
It's
I'll
just
just say something and I'll just do it in your accent because I've just got so used to mimicking you. I'm like a little parrot.
yeah. That's fine. Well, I'm in your ear most of the time when I talk to you in real life, and then you also have to listen to me on the pod when you
Yeah,
re-listen to that as well. So
yeah.
can't blame it. Can't blame
Too
it.
too much time with you, mate. Too much
Yeah.
time with you. Let's talk about the shoot today.
Yeah,
What lamp
yeah, yeah,
shoot today?
exactly. What was it? And I know that you was feeling a little bit ill and stuff as well. So,
Yeah, man. I don't
um,
know what's going on with me. I don't know what's
yeah.
going on. My gut's
Look,
not happy with something.
the listeners need to
They
learn
don't
how to
need to know the ins
navigate
and
being
outs of
ill
my
on
gut.
set. Yeah, but what
Yeah.
happens if they're ill on set? They need to know everything. Go
Have you
on.
ever have you ever been ill on set? I mean, thinking back to the days where have you ever done
Yeah.
a shoot hungover? I think you have because I remember you telling me about
We've
it before.
discussed it. I
Yeah,
did
a
it
long time
once,
ago.
and it was. I think it was back in 2019. So you're talking a long time ago, and it was the only time I've ever done it where you really 4 a.m. and then you shoot is at like half 8 call time, and you're like, oh no, um, yeah, it's
Hell on
horrible.
earth. Hell
Yeah,
on
it's
earth.
awful. Yeah, don't do
Um,
it.
to be fair, I haven't done too many shoots hungover, and obviously I don't drink anymore, um,
Mm.
so that's impossible, which is great. But it's yeah, being ill. Like I was taking painkillers, like so I was fine, and then they started to wear off towards the end of the shoot, and I could feel my
Okay.
stomach cramping again. I was like, oh. So then got on the train, nailed some more painkillers, and I feel a little better now. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was just for Sports Shoes, who's a client that I've worked with like a bit over the last like couple of years, who I get on with really well. And we went up to Leeds, and we went up to Leeds Beckett University, and shot for one of their brands up there, and got to use the running track, which was cool. We had 4 models, and yeah, it's just like cycling through some clothing, super like easy, just naturally lit, no lighting,
Mm.
and just getting like the classic waist up shots, full body, some poses, running shots, some motion blur, all that good stuff. But and then so there was four models. They had 2 outfits each, so 8 looks in total. So yeah, we're just like churning our way through it, and then so yeah, drove to Peterborough, got on the train into Leeds within an hour and 20 minutes. Uber over to the
Oh, it was in
location.
Leeds.
Huh?
Oh, it was in Leeds. I never clocked.
Yeah, yeah, it's in Leeds, mate.
Okay,
It's in
interesting. It's
Leeds. Yeah.
fairly close by, man. I can't believe you didn't pop by and
I didn't swing
uh,
by. I mean, it's not that
uh,
close to you, though, is it? Like, really?
no, maybe 45 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something though. You mentioned that you shoot in natural light. I
Yeah.
did want to ask, does that bother you, or
No.
are you happy? Like, is there a,
So
yeah?
there was a period in time where the sun came out and it was so bright, and one of the lads was wearing this like luminous green
Oh no,
running vest, when the sun hit it, it was just like God, it's color grading a
yeah.
nightmare. It was so just like washed the color out, and it was like a horrible. And then you get the reflections on the skin and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But no, like I don't mind shooting in natural light. For like what the references in the mood board they showed me. So I had a pre-meeting call with them like yesterday, a pre-production call, and showed me the references, and they were all pretty much naturally lit. So that's what they wanted. So that's kind of what we rolled with. I had a bounce, so I took a bounce with me, but didn't actually end up cracking it out. So Yeah, man. Like it's just one of those. It's nice. It's straightforward. I enjoy doing it. It's like one of those ones you've done it 100 times kind of thing. So it's almost like
Yeah.
second nature. And then I was making selects on the way home. So I did wider selects first. So I got it down to like 290.
Okay.
Graded a few and sent them to client so that because they wanted to see and show the team to make sure they were like happy with kind of the gist of what they got. Um, and then I want to try and get it edited before I go on holiday. So this episode will go out the day I land back from holiday or the day I come home. So yeah, I go on holiday in a few days' time. Hence why I record this now, so that you guys have an episode
Yep.
while I'm away. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to going. But both these shoots popped up last minute, so I was meant to have a week of no shoots, and I've ended up, shooting today in Leeds, and then I'm in London tomorrow, and I want to get these edits turned around and done before I go to London on Monday for my flight, like early hours Tuesday.
Yeah.
I've got a 6 a.m. flight, which means I'm up at 2, which is going to be slightly painful.
I remember you saying at the beginning of this week as well, I think you said like this is going to be a power week where it's busy this week, you know, dialing it up to 11 and then you can just like flatten that back down to 0 again to chill.
Yeah, because basically, like, for the listeners listening or watching, I really struggle. So basically, last week I didn't have a shoot.
Yeah.
And then this week I had no shoots booked in, and then I knew I was going away for a week after that. So I'm going away Tuesday to the Tuesday. So I was like, it's 3 weeks, 3 and a bit weeks of no work. Not like I've been dossing and doing sweet fuck all. I've got like, socials to do and work to get on with, but no shooting. So Yaz turns to me and she's like, "This isn't good. This is not good news." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, I know what you like. We go on holiday, and if you haven't had a really busy period up to the holiday, like I'll struggle to switch off." And it's true. Like,
Mm.
if I haven't been super busy, as soon as we get on holiday, I'll be sat there kind of twiddling my thumbs. And we did this when we went to Abu Dhabi. We sat on this resort, and I was kind of like twiddling my thumbs because work had been quiet anyway. And then I went away, and then whereas Yaz is like rushed off her feet in the lawyer world, she can't wait to just like take a proper break and do sweet
Yeah.
fuck all.
There's that
And I s
separation as well, right?
Yeah, and like if I haven't been busy, so that I feel like I'm ready to take that break, I
Yeah.
sit there and I'm like twiddling my thumbs and like I need stuff to do. So, um,
But I mean, with that though, it's always the case that when you do take a break, that's when you get an email like from Nike or something like it's a shoot that you've been looking forward to
yeah,
or you've been
I'm hoping that doesn't happen.
yeah, and you're like, I
I feel
have
like
to work now, I have to
I would
answer
have
this.
heard about it by now. Do you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it's Thursday,
Mm.
so if there was a shoot next week, saying
Yeah.
that the shoot today came in 2 days ago, so you never know,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
But no,
But
man,
but everyone would go through that though. Like
yeah.
people who are listening would go on holiday.
So
You know, there is no separation or anything like that, and
we haven't been on
yeah.
holiday in over a year and a half now. So,
Hmm.
and I think obviously part of the reason is you don't want to book a holiday, and this is the joys of being freelance, right? You don't want to book a holiday and then risk losing out on like 10 days worth of potential work that could come in.
Yeah.
Like we said in the previous couple of episodes, like I've had a good start to the year, so it's like cool. I can afford to take 7 days off and really switch off. But like last year was like up and down, and it was like I didn't want to. And obviously we just bought a house, right? So, funds weren't exactly there to also go on a nice holiday. So yeah, now it's like we haven't done one in a year and a half. We need to get away, and so we booked this, and yeah, nice resort in Greece, and very much looking forward to it. But the beauty about this resort is there's stuff to do. So if I do get tetchy, or I do
Yeah.
get like it's on this like I think it's like 500 acres of like wildlife nature reserve thing, and it's on like a
Okay.
private beach, and there's tennis courts, steam room, sauna, gym. I could beach volleyball. Like I can do everything. And
Okay.
I'm gonna take a camera as well.
Did you get the
Li-
Fuji? Did
no,
you
so
reach out to Fuji
no.
about the camera?
Do you know what
No.
arrived today from Amazon? So
Another nifty 50.
no, so what arrived today was my charger for my Canon 100D,
Okay.
and I'm taking my Canon 100D on holiday
Oh, I think I remember you saying that
because
you
I'm
was
going to do a
thinking of
reel,
that.
and it's
Yeah.
going to be like my first camera still slaps, and I'm
Yeah.
going to try and
That's-
I'm gonna try and take my first ever camera that I bought on holiday and see if I can actually get some decent stuff with it,
Mm.
and see how that goes. I'm tempted to stick my Sigma 16 to 35 on it though, just to like give it a bit of something. Because if I take the kit, the kit lens that comes with it, God, it's gonna be awful,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
then maybe that's more of a challenge, right? Like if I keep the should I keep the kit lens on it? Because if I keep the
I
kit
think
lens on
so.
it, huh?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's a challenge, right? It's literally like
You know.
you could buy it now for 50 quid on eBay. It's like a £200 camera went it 10 years ago, and I'll take the kit lens and I'll just see what I can do. But what I'm also really interested is getting those photos into Capture One and
Mm.
playing with them. And obviously, like I'm not going to have the versatility that I do with my super large Sony RAW files.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Also, if you do use the Sigma, you wouldn't technically be using.
my first
upgrading the camera technically
yeah. So
because the
yeah,
lens does make a bit of a difference. So
yeah, it does. Because I used to
yeah.
shoot on that 100D with that Sigma, and I actually got some really nice shots.
Mm.
So yeah, let's rock the kit lens. Let's see how I get on. It's got an inbuilt like the flashes that pop up.
Oh
So
no.
maybe I'll shoot
Okay.
like a lot of stuff with it like that, just to like
Yeah.
experiment with it a bit more. And then of course I'm gonna take my Olympus Muji, my 35mm point and
Yep.
shoot. So yeah, man.
I love how even when you're going away, you're still thinking of the reel that you're going to be able to make when you get back from the pictures you take whilst you're away. Like,
So
that's so funny.
I've been on it. So I've got three reels that I've made this week
Mm.
in the bank that are going out while I'm away. So like next week's content is already sorted and it's boxed off, and I
Yeah.
can just upload it when I'm out there and it's done. So
Are you not going to schedule it, or are you going to
no, no,
hold off
no.
on that?
I think it does tank the engagement. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We schedule our podcast reels, so that's really
Yeah.
helpful.
No, I don't think I think it harms it in my opinion.
Mm. Okay.
Anywho, so yeah, I'm really really looking forward to going away. So yeah, man, let's shoot today, shoot tomorrow, over out in London tomorrow, and then busy weekend catching up with some friends. Got my brother coming around for lunch and stuff,
Mm.
and then we head to London on Monday afternoon to catch our flight early Tuesday. So
Okay. Very nice.
it's all go.
Well,
It's all go. So next time you guys see me on the pod, I might be a little more tanned.
more tanned than he usually naturally is.
Yeah, more tan than I usually am. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. We had a great guest on the episode last week. For those
Mm.
listening now,
Yeah.
Louis Brown. What's funny, guys, for those listening, is that so we had to cut the call because I had to go. Like as you probably heard, I was running late. I was having a roast at my parents. Went to my parents for the roast,
Priorities.
smashed that down, and then met my mate Matt to go play a little round of golf. By the time I'd finished the roast dinner and played the golf, I then ring Cameron and he's like, I've just got off the call with the podcast with Louis. It's like he'd been speaking to him for an extra 2 hours once I'd left, basically, just like chatting shit, weren't you? Just like
Oh yeah, of course.
chewing
All
the
the
fat.
stuff that couldn't go on the pod, no, but it was good to like it was just a little bit more casual.
Yeah.
You know,
Did
like
you
where
come
you
away
didn't
from that
really.
conversation feeling inspired? Would you
Oh
say?
my god, yeah.
I could tell you were getting really like
Well,
inspired by it.
it felt a little bit more like creatives are kind of the same, aren't they? Like if you can get on that same level, like no matter whether it's photography and directing or video,
Mm.
there is an element of like where you're all in the same boat, and it really felt like that, and especially with Louis as well, where there was more of hearing about what his process is, and
Yeah.
then again like me talking about my stuff and him being like, oh, that's interesting, and vice versa.
What really inspired me was, how we asked the question about how to stand out from the crowd and kind of
Mm.
like finding what's unique to you and what you're passionate about, and kind of like the way he answered that question, like definitely had an effect on me. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go away and think about things differently. And but yeah, man. So I hope
Yeah, a
those
lot of good
listening
stuff.
enjoyed the first guest episode we've had in quite a while.
Mm.
Pardon me.
The first remote episode as well, which means that there's going to be the scope
So many
for
males
what we're
coming.
able to get onto the pod now is great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to, and I think Louis did like a really good job of being the first person as well. And no pressure
Yeah.
to him, but
No.
um,
Smashed it.
yeah, it was really good. And yeah, man, like
Do you want to pick up a camera again soon? Serious question. Or
Oh well, I'm picking up cameras all the time. The main I just said before this episode that I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel,
oh, you
and
said it now. That's it. Like you said it, so it's out there.
yeah. So I've got some scripts done, and I've got some YouTube ideas, and I think what I'm really leaning back into is just doing the things that you want to do, and there is no reason for it to have a fancy hook or anything like this, and it's just like almost you can record it and then not upload it or something.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm loving like this is an element of recording as well, where my camera's on my desk, you just press the record button and go. So there's still that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's different creativity seems like a lot more fluid now. I don't want to get all like airy fairy, but there is definitely a different perspective on creativity, and sometimes the creativity is in just finding references, and then you don't know where those references will go. But maybe one day in the future, when you do shoot something, you'll be like, oh. So it's
I
like
like
dipping
that.
your toe in here, dipping your toe in there, and maybe something comes from it, maybe something doesn't. But
Yeah.
it's
It's
just being
made me want.
satisfied with that.
It's made me want to
Yeah,
find inspiration that's just like elsewhere. That's not just on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
whether that's like going to art galleries or looking through old magazines or watching old films and
yeah,
pausing it and finding a frame that I see and being like, cool, I could shoot that with an athlete. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's made me want to kind of, what did he said? Like, have a wider net. That was his way of putting it, and I
yeah,
really liked that. So, spending probably a bit more time on Pinterest because I used to spend a lot of time on it, and now I've just been so busy I haven't, and need to make more of a priority of doing that.
yeah. Do you feel like things are a little bit muddy, or there's like a dirty feeling of like there's so much social media that there's almost like nothing else, and I don't know, like
Well,
at
yeah,
least
because I think that's our constant stimulus, isn't it?
yeah,
Because we've got phone in hand so much, so it completely dilutes everything else in the sense of all my time is spent, not all my time, but if I'm spending 5 hours a day on my phone, then and I'm on social, I'm doing this and I'm checking this and I'm replying to comments and replying to DMs, and I find myself going on my phone to do something, and before I know it, I'm on Instagram.
yeah,
It's like fuck, like
yeah.
um. So I've changed my Opal. So Opal is a really good app where I had it set so I couldn't go on social media between the hours of 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. So after 9 p.m. it locks off, and you can choose like how difficult it is to get in. It basically is fucking impossible unless you delete the Opal app. I'm
Okay,
never going that far because that's like addict behavior.
yeah,
Even though I am addicted, but I don't mean like. Anywho, and basically that worked really well. So it meant that we're not in bed scrolling on social media um, before we go to sleep and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I've recently changed it in the last week to instead of 9 p.m. I brought it all the way back to 6 p.m.
okay, yeah.
So it's 6 p.m. till 9 a.m. I
Don't you go
can't
to bed
check
at
it.
like 10? Like 9 p.m. seems quite late for your like bedtime because I would almost prefer you to have it at 6 p.m. because you need like 4 hours of,
Yeah, well, this is the
you
thing,
know what I
right?
mean?
But I needed it at 9 p.m. because I was obviously going on it past 9. So
Yeah,
now it's 6 p.m. and it's been great. So it's like I can't go on Instagram now. I have to wait till morning, and it's forcing me to post in the day and then like just let it do its thing. And then after 6 p.m. I can't check it again. I can't see how that reel's doing until the day after. So that's been like a good habit, and I think
yeah,
that's a really good app. If anyone's listening, they want a good
yeah.
app that does that. It's called Opal, Opal, and it makes you sign up and shit. And it's like, oh, it costs, but you can just do it for free. You can do like
Oh,
the
you pay for
nighttime
it?
one, and I don't pay for it, no.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you
Um,
said it. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
but there's so many things. It's like it pops up and it's like this is 9.99 a month or this, and you just click like the X at the top.
Okay,
It's one of those things. It makes it look like you have to pay, but if you just click the X at the top or whatever it was, you don't, and
okay.
you have to pay if you want to add like more blocks.
Yeah, like functionality and
But
stuff, I
there's just
guess.
you can customize one block, and that's like your bedtime one. But obviously,
Hmm.
you could kind of adjust that to however you want. So, yeah, mine's now from 6 p.m. till 9 a.m., and I think that's been really good. So
I think that would probably help you prioritize your recording social videos tasks more because it's like I can't do this after
yeah,
like at this certain time or whatever.
exactly.
Um, yeah, that's really good. I haven't really. It's been really funny, but I think ever since I've moved into here, I've actually been on social less. Like I barely go on my phone, and then when I do go, when I get in bed at night and I'm like, holy shit, I haven't been on Instagram all day. Like when, because obviously I go on it before I go to sleep or whatever, which
Yeah.
is probably the opposite of you actually. Um,
But
but
but you obviously,
yeah,
if you're not posting on it, then I feel like it's
yeah.
just, and you
Well,
schedule the post for the podcast, right? So it just like
yeah,
you can just let it be and it will upload and you don't have to faff around with it. Whereas
yeah.
because I'm posting on it regularly, if I'm not uploading stories every day, it's a reel or
Oh,
whatever.
I think that's where it gets you though, because at first I was struggling. Like I was trying to stay off it. Say like over the last couple of months, I was trying to stay off it, but I kept finding myself going on it. Whereas recently, I'd say like the last 3 weeks maybe, I've just like completely forgot about it. It's really
Do you know what
weird.
it is as well? Like, you've been busy and you've moved house, so like that's kept
Mm,
you busy. And when you've got stuff to
fair.
do, you're not on your phone.
Yeah, I'm
But
building a bed frame instead.
yeah, but you're also living with Steph, right? So
Mm,
if I was with Yaz in the week, and when Yaz is here on the weekend, I'm never on my phone because like that's our time. But there's no one else here; it's just me, right? So when it's just
yeah,
me here, it's like it's a bit lonely. It's just me. So obviously, like I absorb my time like scrolling through social and stuff because like there's no one here to communicate with. So
yeah,
it's
true.
it's a bit of a weird one. So I think that also plays like probably a bigger part in it than I probably realize.
Yeah.
So I also have to remember that as well. But yeah, man, I want to get into the topic for today. Um,
Okay.
and it's more of a question, and I think we can kind of go back and forth on it. But I've definitely seen this in the past. So like, it can be super difficult to commit to creative decision, right? Especially in post production. For example, you can edit things multiple ways. You can edit the same image 1,000 different ways. You can edit the same video 1,000 different ways. So how do you decide? How do you commit to something? And I felt this when we did the Brotherhood project, the video project that I directed, and we
That's a
sat
good
in the edit.
example.
Yeah, we sat in the edit, and I think I'd done like a skeleton edit where I basically kept things in that I were cool and got rid of the other stuff. And then we sat there and we were like, oh, this could be that, that could be there, this could be at the
Mm.
front. And it's like, how many ways is there to skin a cat? And oh, I don't know why they have that saying, by the way. It's not nice. It's not a nice image. Um,
Yeah.
but it was just like, yeah, man, like it's really tough. And I found it more tough with video. I'll speak about my opinion with photo and how I kind of go about it, but I just want to kind of talk about this because I feel like indecision and all that kind of stuff is a really kind of big thing, especially in the post production side.
Yeah, I think if you're doing something that's a little bit more narrative based or something a little bit more where, like, say, like editorial, like an interview or like a GQ video or something, like there is a direction that it can go because it's whatever they've said on that thing, and you only have so much to work with. But when it's like, I used to make creative videos where it was like transitions and all this, and any shot could go after another. And I remember this is one of the reasons why I don't really like editing too much anymore. I try to just DOP is because when I was editing, I had to hit my head against the wall for like 5 hours just to figure out the first 30 seconds of the video, and
Yeah.
it was such a big mental block. Um, but like I don't know if shall I go into what I think now in terms of like maybe how to avoid it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. But I think honestly, maybe it's just making decisions early on. Like doing the research and kind of committing to, okay, I'm going to do it this way. Because like when we were doing the Brotherhood project and you was directing, like you had references, you saw things, and like I remember like that one where I think someone was stood on top of a car or something. Like you did have references, but maybe you needed to go like 3 levels deeper and be like, I'm doing this exact like shot for shot,
Well,
and then
storyboard,
leaving
right?
room.
I didn't have a
Yeah, like
storyboard,
exactly. Yeah,
so I didn't.
yeah,
And I think obviously for like a lot of these bigger commercial shoots, you have a storyboard on how you want it to like pan out in your head, and it's all there, and you can get it shot for shot for shot. So then when you come to sit in post, it kind of looks after itself, right?
yeah. Essentially, the editing is supposed to be the, well, quote unquote easiest part because the storyboarding and everything's already been decided for you, and then you're just going in and choosing the best takes and stuff. But um, yeah, like there is a level of maybe you commit to something up front first, and I think I did write this theme down in the notes just because I was scripting my YouTube videos and I would script it one day and then 3 days later I would see it again and I'd be like, oh, maybe I could start with this first, and then I'd switch it, and I'm like, there are 50 different ways to script a YouTube video and what to talk about and how to talk about it. And do you make it motivating, or do you make it a bit more personal and like, oh, like this is what I've been going through recently, or do you
Uh,
kind of make it like a lesson learned thing? Like, I don't know. It's so
I found
frustrating.
that the same with my YouTube stuff, my Instagram stuff. Like
Mm.
I'm making a reel, I'm planning out a reel, and I'll write it down, then I'll come back to it a day later and have a different feeling about it. And
Yeah.
the opening hook is different, and do you know what I mean? And so 100%, like it is committing, right? It's committing to something, and I think when it comes to photos, I don't struggle with it as much. And I was just thinking about this. I was like, why is that? And now the more I think about it, I think it's because I have my style. So I
Mm.
naturally gravitate as soon as I get an image in, like I've got my grade and I'm playing around within the boundaries of like what my quote unquote style is, like how I edit, how I crop, and I know what that is, and that feels like second nature to me. And I've done it so many times. And think about how many photos I've edited in my career,
Mm.
hundreds of thousands of images I've edited.
It's crazy.
So as soon as I get one in and I go to edit it, like I know already where I want to take it just naturally without kind of
Mm.
overthinking it. But if I sat there and I pulled up a raw image and I really thought about it, cool, I could go down a black and white route with low contrast, a black and white route with super high contrast. I could do a filmy look. Do you know what I mean? And you could go off. I could do one with motion blur in post. And I could do one without, and I can.
Well, even your cropping now at the moment, you do those crops. Like, do you ever struggle with, yeah, the crop on the arm looks good, but maybe I should crop like a little bit more on the forearm instead of the shoulder. Like,
Clone variants. So what I do
okay,
is I get the image, I've edited it, and then if I see an image within an image, right click, clone variant, and then it gives me a carbon copy of it, and then I'll crop in on it, and then on another copy, I'll crop in on it somewhere else. So sometimes I'm getting three images out of one image.
yeah. So
Um,
there is the exploration there that you're doing. Then you're not just,
Oh yeah, 100%.
yeah,
And I get more excited about composition and crops, I think, than I do. It's funny. I was mentoring a lad. Was it this week or last week? And he actually he sat and watched me edit his work, which was quite an interesting one. So
wow,
yeah, I
that's
was meant to
really
sit and
good.
watch him edit on Capture One and like talk him through like what I'd think and stuff. But his internet connection wasn't very good, so I couldn't see him editing, like it was that bad. So
Okay,
what we ended up doing, I said, look, send me the 10 favorite photos from the shoot, and I sat and I went through each one and I edited it and was talking him through kind of like the way I would, and I
okay,
showed him like there was this one image, and I was like, well, there's two images in here, and I cloned the variant and I cropped, and then I cropped again, and he was like, oh fuck, like. So
yeah.
I get more excited, I think, about. I like to have like just a fairly standard nice grade that looks nice, slightly on the filmier side, but what gets me excited is the compositions and the
Hmm.
crops and the actual frame. Um, so yeah,
I
like
think,
experimenting with stuff like that. I am still doing that in post if I see it,
yeah,
but it's like I'm not pre-planning for that. And I feel like it's hard in photography, like when you're shooting an athlete that's moving and like you have references that you want to achieve, but also at the same time the shapes that they create on that day are the shapes they create on that day. And that's kind of like they do what they do, and you capture it, whatever you can in your way and your style. And it's not until you sit down and post and you're like, right, this running shot, I can crop in on their face and hand whilst they're like sprinting, and
hmm.
that's one shot. But I can also do a wider shot with the knees in it, and I can do a full body wide, all based off one image. And it's not until I see it and I know that I know I'm going to do it.
How do you? So, is there a? Do you aim for the? Oh, I'm going to get wide, and then I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to get that, and is there like a commitment process? Because, like in video, you kind of, I think you just honestly get to a point where you just decide that that section of the video is done. Or naturally, when you're making an edit, you'll do a single pass and then you'll go back to the beginning once you've done like a rough cut. Then you'll refine it and it's just a continual process of refinement. Or do you, with an
That's
image, do you
that.
take the image to the end and then start on the second image? Or,
No, no, no. I will never take
right.
it to the end. So I'll get all my images into Capture One, and then I'm culling. So I'll
Hmm.
go through and five star like all the
Yeah,
images that are of interest to me.
it's
Like
making selects basically,
yeah.
video version. Yeah.
So then it's wider selects. So say I've
Yep.
got 300 in my wider selects. I'm then going to go through again and really narrow it down and try and see if I can cull any more. But whilst I'm going through that second round, I will start playing around with the grade
Yeah,
and then just applying that grade over everything, because sometimes an image can look so different with a grade on, and then I can see it and be like, ah, there's an image there, and it starts to
yeah.
obviously bring it to life a bit more. So then I can decide if I want to keep it or bin it, or do you know what I
That's a
mean?
good point. Yeah, in video we had like just a Rex 09 look, just
Yeah.
to so that you're not looking at some black and white
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
it's obviously when you're
Yeah.
shooting in like S-Log and all that kind of stuff, it's super pulled out saturation. Raw
Mm.
images aren't that bad.
Oh no. Okay.
No, nowhere near
Yeah.
as bad as it is when you guys are grading. Like a raw image, it still looks pretty. And I don't know if that's Capture One doing that. It might be actually in the back end that
Mm.
just makes it look a bit more natural. But yeah, like I'm going through and I'm culling, but I'm also editing as I go. And once I'm happy that I've got like a good, whether it's 50 images that I'm loving from this shoot, then I'm gonna go in and edit them all the way.
Yeah.
And then once I have, I'm then deciding. Actually, I like to put them side by side. You can select four, and they sit all four of them on the screen together. And I look at them as a four, and I find it much easier to be like, get rid of that one, get rid of that one. When you're seeing them side by side, you can tell if they're stronger or weaker.
Yeah.
Next to the rest of them. Whereas when you're looking at them one at a time, it's really hard to do that.
Yeah. Do you
Um,
have how many pictures next to each other do you have though? Because imagine you've got say
so
like
if
you've
it's
got
two of
20,
the
you need
same,
to
I'll
take
put
it
them side
to
by side. Like,
okay.
do you know what I mean? If it's two of a very, very similar shot, but there's only a slight difference in the limb or the body
Mm.
or whatever, then they're parked up side by side. If there's three of them, all three go up side by side.
Yeah.
And I'll only ever do like a max of probably four,
Okay.
um, just to try and get like a feel of what the strongest is between, and that's like it's a good way of culling images and kind of getting rid of them, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay. I liked the way you said about where you do wider selects because as you just said a minute ago, like you might have similar images, whereas I think in video you might do different takes, but most of the time you depending on what you're shooting, you would just shoot and that's it. Um, and I think if I think about it, you'll go through, you'll do wider selects in video, and then you'll go back and you'll do wider selects again until you've got like this really trimmed down version, and then from that is what you make the edit in. But the actual creative side of it, you leave kind of till the end. Like you don't put any fancy transitions in, you don't really do anything. You make the edit, and then the edit kind of reveals where like, oh, we can probably like
Put
fade
something
from this
there.
to this and
Yeah.
like mask and all that shit. And I'm wondering, is there also anything like that in photography where you
Well,
think it's a shit image, but in terms of like those four images going together, maybe this one that is just like the floor actually makes sense in this four. Do you know what I mean? Where
yeah,
a shot might not be a particular thing.
yeah, maybe. Well, I mean, the beauty about photography is that we're really lucky. Where I was saying, like, I can duplicate an image and be like, I think that would look better in black and white, and I
Hmm.
like just duplicate it, and then I edit it in black and white, and I can just make as many copies as I want, and just throw different grades on and experiment and have a bit of a play. Whereas,
Yeah, we
like
can do that in
you,
video. We can
it,
do that in video.
well, you can, but you're faffing around with doing it over the whole thing. I know you
Oh,
can grade
yeah,
like
not specific
individual.
shots. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, the actual
like
edit. Hmm.
you want your grade to match throughout, right? Whereas, I can put one in black and white and do something really funky with it, and then the next one can be like back to my
Yeah.
normal way,
Do
and
you
kind
have
of all
what
that
about
stuff.
baselines though? So one thing I'm thinking of now is when I'm going to start an edit or even in pre-production, music is already selected. Like you might have like four music selects that you've really dialed in and you're like, right. And oftentimes we'll edit the music and get that like say like if you've got a 30-second edit, you'll have the music already edited
Mm.
like ahead of the shoot so that when it comes time to editing, the music's already in and then you drop the footage in. And I've done this many times, especially with the GQ stuff where you would get the narrative right first. I think it was on GQ Heroes where like the main film was like the advertisement, so you really needed to make the story hit hard. And 80% of the time was just going through sound bites and audio, getting that right, and then being like, right, what visual goes with like what this audio is. So a lot of times the edit is just audio, and then the story, the story part of it. So if we were editing the Brotherhood project again, I didn't realize this at the time, so maybe we should go back and edit it.
Definitely
But
not.
you would literally just do it audio only. I feel like, did we do it audio
Yeah,
only?
we did at one point,
Yeah.
especially the interview. Like
Yeah.
we let the interview play without looking at any of the video.
Interesting. Okay.
And
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
does this sound right? Does this, do
Hmm.
you know what I mean, does this flow correctly?
There's
This is
something
more,
different about not seeing the visual,
yeah.
which is kind of hard for you. I don't think you can do that.
No, we
Yours
can't.
is all visual. Maybe.
Yeah.
What about? Do you not? I feel like music might mess you up. Like if you're listening to like
I
Eminem, and then one day you listen to like a sad song, it's like, damn, like these images are making me feel different now that I've got this
you know
music
what
on.
I used to do? When I used to shoot a lot of music artists, I love listening to
Mm.
their music whilst I'm editing photos of them.
Oh my god, that is fuck it, mate. I'm marking that. That's sick.
Yeah.
That's
So
such a good idea.
I remember, like, when I shot Justin Bieber live, I'm like back home in my flat, like
Mm.
rocking to JB, editing photos of JB, and it was the same, same with like Ed Sheeran and
Yeah,
obviously Ella and all these people, and it's just that's a cool thing to. I don't know why it was just. It's like you're editing this image of them and you're digesting their music and you're immersing yourself in them and their personality and you're learning about their stories and their lyrics and you're also like your art is kind of blending in as you edit a photo of them. So that was
yeah.
quite a cool thing to do. But when it comes to editing like my other normal stuff, I don't tend to listen to music too much, to be honest. It depends what mood I'm in. If I'm like,
Wait, so do you not listen to podcasts or music? Because surely
yeah,
the benefit of being a photographer is that you can like listen to stuff whilst you're editing.
yeah, usually it is a podcast, like, or there's a YouTube
Okay.
video playing. It's just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
something
yeah,
in
yeah.
the back. But like
I
if
see
I'm
a
kind
lot of
of,
times creatives always have like Family Guy on or something. Like you'll see music artists in the studio, and in the background of like their BTS pictures is like The Simpsons.
yeah,
Like they
just like
always have it on.
like deadpan, like
Yeah,
just like shit TV that you can have on in the back that just plays.
yeah. I feel like that's
Um,
so distracting if I was to do that
yeah,
because I've
I
tried
couldn't do
it.
that. I can listen to
Oh,
like I say there's a podcast on. Am I actually paying full on attention to it all the time? Probably not. Like I'm in
Right.
and out of it, you know. Whereas if I edit a photo and I'm listening to music, I'm fully immersed in the photo.
Hmm.
Just like nice to have in the background. But yeah, man, like in terms of like back to kind of creative decision in post, I think when it comes to photography, I push for my style. If I want to experiment, I can, and I've got the flexibility to do that. And I think when you're, starting out and you're new to it all, that's the beauty of it, right? You're experimenting. Like, yes, it's really hard to make a decision in post production. Who says you need to make one?
Hmm.
Like, cool, if you've got clients and they're paying and you're on a deadline, fine, you need to make a decision and put it out there and to a standard that you're happy with. Um, but if you're shooting for the love of it and for the fun of it, who says they need to go out next week? You could spend the next 4 weeks editing them all in black and white and then changing it with a different like tone, and you can kind of learn a YouTube video and decide you want to have another go at re-editing it and till you want to share it again. Like, do you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it, right? It's the beauty of art. You can paint something in 1,000 different ways.
Yeah.
Um, so don't look at it as like a chore. It can be a chore when like you say, you got client deadlines, but if you're trying to find your style and that's part of the process. You can't just be like, cool, I know what, one day I'm going to know exactly how I'm going to edit, and that's my style, and I've just found it like that, and I've plucked it out of thin air. It doesn't work like that. You've got to edit thousands and thousands and thousands of images and find what talks to you and what,
Hmm.
what sings to you, and like, the way I don't know what makes me edit the way I do, whether it's my upbringing, my passion for sport, like the way I see stuff, angles, whatever it is like that. But I'm me, and that's what makes me me. And there'll be something that makes you you, and that's what is going to make you stand out. Whether it's your love for anime and the way they shoot stuff, so you decide to, shoot stuff in similar ways, or like you love, I don't know, cartoons. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, so you decide to grade in that kind of style, and you bring elements in. Like,
Yeah.
it's just that's just kind of the way it is.
You just reminded me of Rick Rubin as well, where he says to, like if you always edit in a certain way, maybe try and do the opposite, or
Yeah,
try and like break what you usually do to,
Because it's
I
so
guess,
easy
kind
to
of
stagnate
flex.
and get comfy.
Yeah, yeah,
For
yeah.
so
And then
long, I didn't
also
push my
it gets
editing. It was
boring.
just like a rinse and repeat job. It was,
Hmm.
this is the way I edit. And obviously, when I moved to Capture One, I tried to push it a bit more, and I've probably got used to it again now. And it's like, cool, I need to push again. Like, I need to,
Keep changing softwares.
yeah, I need to like, yeah, yeah. I need to push something. Like something's got to, what am I going to bring into it? Like, what am I going to
Hmm.
learn? And you know, so like I say, but it's your work at the end of the day, and that doesn't have to be the way you edit it. It could be your composition, it could be the way you decide to bring in set design. It could be the way you decide to style every time you shoot, and there's a certain hint of you in there with the way you
Hmm.
style it, and all these different things. So yeah, I don't think we need to push on about that too much longer, but I
That's
think
fun.
we've made some good points there.
Yeah, I would like to. You said the photo side. I would just like to really quickly wrap up the video side with, like if you are on an edit, then I would really stick to doing like a rough version and keeping it quite loose. Like a lot of times you edit to music and then you go, "Oh, actually that sounds shit," but you'll change it in version 2. Keep it quite commit to things, but don't commit to them probably until like version 2 or version 3, and do play with it. And
Yeah.
it's what there's always that one edit in, especially in video, where the video's shit and then you do something and you're like, oh my god, now it for some reason now it works. So yeah, I just wanted to say that.
No,
Um,
good point.
but yeah, man, yeah, I'm
Sweet.
happy.
Well, let's wrap up the show, guys. If you have made it this far, please leave us a little 5-star review on Spotify if you think this show is 5-star worthy. It helps us find
Yeah.
new people, and it helps with the algorithm in the Spotify
Yeah.
universe.
And if you want guests, let us know about guests and
Yeah, let us know who.
all that
The
stuff.
world is
Yeah,
our oyster now.
yeah,
We don't need to fly them in on a private jet. If they've got the internet, we can reach them. So,
exactly.
all is well. So yeah, Cameron, I'll see you when I'm back from my hollybobs.
Okay. Oh my god, yeah. How long are you going for again? So you go on Monday and you're going for
You-
7 days, are you right?
Well, we fly at 6 a.m. on the Tuesday, and then away
Yeah.
for 7 days, 7 nights. So back the following
Okay.
yeah. So
So next time you see Matt, bro's
I'll be
gonna be
bronzed.
brown.
I'll be
Bronzed.
bronzed.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I
thanks for
I've got
listening,
my
guys.
I got my projector, by the way, so I'm gonna go off and
Enjoy.
enjoy
I'm
that
gonna
again.
put
Yeah.
something on just to decompress. Like, have you got any recommendations on Netflix at the moment or anything like that?
Across the Spider-Verse we watched Across the Spider-Verse. Do you know what?
Yeah,
That was so damn.
I
Yeah.
fell asleep nearly.
Yeah. This fucking mate. Fuck you.
I want like another Reacher. Like, I really enjoyed Reacher. Just something like that.
Have you seen Oblivion with Tom
What?
Cruise?
Yeah.
Have you
I
seen
know.
Constantine
I
with
started
Keanu
watching This
Reeves?
Town. I started watching This Town.
Okay.
And that's a great film. So I'm gonna finish that tonight. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm halfway through.
Okay.
Sweet. All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. If you made it this far, we appreciate you a lot. You can subscribe to the newsletter. It's in our Instagram bio. And
Yep.
we will love you and leave you. And we will see you in the next episode.
Bye,
Much
guys.
love. Peace out.
Bye.